What's going on, everyone? It's Matt Deeks here with another video. Appreciate you guys for dropping by. And we got week 16 Hard Stratagem. Guys, this one is a tough one. Honestly, probably one of the hardest, definitely in the top three hardest stratagems we've had so far. We've had 16 weeks of stratagems out already, and this is by far one of the hardest ones. Okay, not only is it already a base hard map, Reliquary is a tough map as it is, but basically you add way more intensifiers and multipliers that go against you. Okay, so with that being said, guys, let's jump into it and see what this week brings to week 16 Hard Stratagem. So let's hop into stratagems, and you see that I did beat it, guys. I'm not gonna joke around with you. It took me a few tries. So if you are out there and you have not beat it yet, don't feel bad. It's not an easy stratagem. Okay. So with that being said, guys, let's jump into it. Okay, guys, so for the battlefield conditions this week, we have point blank. So range damage at ranges less than 10 meters is increased by 75%. And then we have myopia. Range damage at ranges greater than 10 meters is reduced by 75%. So those two guys, we have point blank. Again, 10 meters or less, we have an increase of 75%. And then 10 meters or more, we have a reduction of damage of 75%. So they work, as opposites. So right off the bat, guys, you're going to see that close range weapons are going to be your go-to picks for this week. Okay, this is not the time to go for the last fusel. This is not the time to go for range weaponry. This is the time to go for those close range weapons. Multi-melta, melta rifle. You can even do a plasma incinerator. You can shoot those pretty close up and do a lot of damage. Okay, especially with those charged shots. Or if you are going for the heroic, you can just lay fire with the auto, and you're going to get a 75%. Guns like that, you can even use the Inferno pistol. This is where the Inferno pistol might come in handy, oddly enough, okay? These type of weapons where you're in close proximity, Pyre Blaster, Pyre Cannon, these types of weapons, okay, guys? But let's go into the last battlefield condition, because this is where, honestly, this stratagem becomes really tough, in my opinion. It's this last stratagem. This last battlefield condition, sorry. It's called press the attack. So not performing a finisher for 20 seconds will start draining your health down to 30%. But finishers restore health. Now you're still going to have your perks that like Unmatched Seal or Adrenaline Rush for Vanguard that will heal. You're still going to be able to heal upon Banner if you're a Bulwark. Whatever your perks are, those will still be there. You'll still be able to get medkit heals. So finishers are not the only way to restore health. It's an additional way, okay? But I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to overlay just a clip in a few seconds showing you exactly how this press the attack battlefield condition works. All right, guys, so as you can see, I just finished a execution there. So the timer began at that point. So I have basically 20 seconds to get another execution, so I can stop my health from being taken away, right? So as you're going to see here, we're waiting. This is why, honestly, Reliquary it's a tough mission for this battlefield condition to be placed on. But anyways, you'll see, guys, that, okay, 20 seconds has gone by. You can see my armor being taken away. Once the armor is taken away, guys, my health will be taken away up or down to 30% health, and then it'll stop, okay? So keep in mind, guys, that you have 20 seconds to get a execution, or else your health starts dropping. All right, guys, so you saw how it worked there. It is pretty crazy. Unfortunately, Reliquary is an area where there's a lot of, not downtime, but a lot of waiting around, waiting for the servo skull to, check this burial chamber, check that burial chamber. You got to find servitors, you got to find. So there's a lot of running around. So this is really, I don't know if they chose Reliquary randomly or they did it on purpose, but it's a good but tough combination to have press the attack and then reliquary, right? Because 20 seconds can elapse just waiting for the damn servo skull to find an appropriate tomb, right? So it's really tough. Press the attack is tough. But anyways, guys, let's get into the actual classes and weapons and perks, if there are some, that I recommend for this week's stratagem. All right, guys. So now I ran the heavy with the heroic plasma incinerator, and my secondary was the plasma pistol. However, to be completely honest with you guys, you can really run any class. I would say the least favorite would be like a sniper. Obviously, most of your weapons are going to be long range. You have the last fusel, you have, instigator, mostly long range weapons, right? So I don't really recommend the sniper. Oddly enough, there was a sniper in my group, so obviously it couldn't be done. However, if you want, the biggest advantage, you want to really go in with, a perfect loadout that'll get you to the finish line, I would probably recommend either a heavy. You can go for a Vanguard with the melter rifle. You can go for tactical. These types of classes where your primary weapon is close combat, close range. So for example, we have the heavy. You can choose either the heavy plasma incinerator, or you can choose the pyre cannon or the multi-melta. I ran it a few times with the multi-melta. I got pretty far, however, we just couldn't get it done, but I was able to get it done with the heavy plasma incinerator. As for a Vanguard, you can be running the melter rifle. Honestly, I recommend the melter rifle for this mission. Same thing for the tactical, or also the pyre blaster will work as well. The issue with the assault and the bulwark, yes, you're going to be getting, yes, you have great melee, power. You have great strength with your melee weaponry. For example, Xenophase Blade, or you could be running the new heroic Thunderhammer. If you haven't checked out that video, guys, check out my shock heroic Thunderhammer video. It's insane. It's an insane build. However, you don't get the advantage of the 75% buff. Okay. Yes, you could with the plasma pistol, but really, what are you going to be doing with a little plasma pistol, right? So you want to be taking advantage of your main weapon, your main ranged weapon, your primary weapon, to get that 75% buff. Okay. So again, what I recommend in terms of weapons and in classes, tactical, Vanguard, and heavy, because they're the only ones that offer good close range primary weapons that will get you that 75% increase in range attack. Into kind of what perks I recommend, I do have to say that, if you do love the sniper, and you love the bulwark, and you love the the tactical with the heavy bolt, or you like the assault, all these classes can work. Again, you go in with what you feel the best. I'm just giving you my opinion and telling you what worked for me, and what the weekly stratagem battlefield conditions emphasize in terms of what you kind of should be using, right? But again, go in with what you're comfortable with, what you play best with, because you're probably going to do the best with those classes and weapons. And again, I know this sounds crazy, but you can always use the Instigator Bolt Carbine close up. And you can always use the, things like heavy bolt carbine, or the other tactical weapons close up as well. Is it perfect? No, but could you be getting better, a higher advantage with something like a multi-melta or a melta rifle or a pyre blaster? Probably, but go in with what you feel the best with, all right? So with that being said, guys, let's get into a few perks that I recommend if you're going to be running certain classes, okay? So if you're going to be running a Vanguard, again, you're going to be losing health like it's no one's business, all right? So putting on perks like Adrenaline Rush, where you get 5% restoration of health for every Majoris level or higher, is going to be key. Must put on if you're a Vanguard, really in any situation, is Unmatched Seal. So you get 30% health back for an Extremis or Terminus kill, okay? Putting those two on are going to be clutch. Also, guys, as you saw in my earlier video kind of showing you how that last battlefield condition works, I would recommend, if you are running, let's say bulwark, right? So I recommend really to keep your ammo or your armor high, okay? Keep your armor as high as you can go. So Sorry, I was playing around with the shock build, but I recommend definitely if you're going to be running the bulwark, you want your healing capabilities on. So you want invigorate and icon. You're not always going to be able to pause and really get that your battle brother up. So rejuvenating effect is really going to be good as well. But perks like focus restoration, where you get one armor segment every 30 seconds, is going to keep your armor high, thus keeping your health intact. Things like non-finisher gun strike, where you get one armor segment back for non-finisher gun strikes. This one's also very, very important because that last battlefield condition not only takes away your health, it takes away your armor as well. So if you have armor remaining, right, guys, your health will stay intact a lot longer. Okay, so I really recommend, if you're going to run a bulwark, armor reinforcement and focus restoration, along with perks like invigorate and icon, and lastly rejuvenate effect. Another example, guys, if you're going to be running assault for some reason, I definitely recommend, really the only perk I would recommend would be to put armor reinforcement on, similar to the bulwark. You know, you get your armor back for every non-finisher gun strike, along with finisher gun strikes, right? So keep your armor high, thus keeping your health high as well. If you're running a heavy, must put on, in my opinion, is the second perk here, Fortitude, where you get a blanket increase of health by 30%. That's just going to keep your health higher, going to be able to survive a lot longer, because honestly, the heavy doesn't really have any armor reinforcement perk, so putting on Fortitude is really going to help you, okay? If you are running the multi-melta, for example, you want to be running multi-kill. Just make sure your perks are optimized, guys, and so you can really go into this with the best weapon loadout that you can. Again, remember, the last part of this stratagem or this mission, you will be facing a Helldrake at long ranges. So I would recommend, if you are running the multi-melta, that at the end, before you go into that boss battle, switch over to, you know, the heavy bolt, or sorry, the heavy plasma incinerator. It is my recommendation, because, you know, you really want to be getting those long range weapons for that Helldrake, because that multi-melt is just not going to reach, okay? Even if you have full range perk multipliers in the perk tree, trust me, switch it to a long range weapon, okay? Or you're going to be missing every single shot. You're not going to be hitting. Or you could also switch to your secondary, but again, you have to factor into two things, right? It is just a plasma pistol. It is a pistol at the end of the day. And second, guys, you will be greater than 10 meters, so you're going to have a 75% reduction, okay? You're already going to feel that your shots are not doing as much damage to the Helldrake, because remember, guys, you are more than 10 meters away, okay? So keep that in mind at the end. All right, guys, with that being said, you know, good luck this week on the, weekly stratagem. It is, you know, midweek or mid, you know, week for getting the new stratagem, because it comes out every Wednesday. So if you've beaten it, fantastic. Let me know in the comments. If you haven't, hopefully this guide kind of helps you out, all right? So with that being said, I will see you in the next one, guys. Take care.